Hey y'all, it's Josh Chambers Portable Welding. We finally are getting around to trying out our new Hogan 920 MD drill. We've already made a couple little test holes, figuring out the right speed to run the carbide bits. Either way, follow me and I'm gonna show you what we're doing. Okay, so what we got is a bulldozer blade moldboard that we're making. The factory at Komatsu didn't offer replacement boards, so what we did is got a piece of AR400 1-inch thick plate. We got carbide cutters, angular cutters for the drill. The way we laid the blade out, or the moldboard out, was we found our center line where we wanted the hose to be at. We took our cutting edges and laid them out on this board how we want, like this. I took a center punch because these cutting edges got plow bolt holes cut in them, so a square hole. So that, like for instance, this 7/8 center punch fits snug into the plow hole. So we went through, laid all of our edges out, made sure we had a space between each edge. Center punch, and you can see where the center punch goes. You in out there, buddy. See how perfect the center punch was in the center? We started to use this blue layout paint, but by the time the oil come out to keep the cutter cool, I was losing my line, so we went back with the soapstone and then did the center punch ideal, and this is working out good. So we've already made four holes, and I was trying to adjust the speeds and figure out the right speed. Most of your carbide cutters, like when I'm line boring, you want to run them at the highest speed possible. With this machine here, I got 3 different speeds. It goes from 250 to 450 to 700. So I started on 450, and then I went up to 700. And these cutters cut perfect at 700 RPMs. So let me get my glasses on, get my wife to kind of make a little video of us going through. Like I said, this is 1-inch plate cutting with a carbide cutter. Let's turn the oil on. Here we go. That's that. We got the cutters that we're using are the copper heads made by Hogan, and they're just carbide cutters. These are meant to cut hard plate, and these things are nice. You can see the carbide cutters on the tips there. All right, we got a bunch of drilling to do, so hopefully I'll get to make the rest of this video in the next hour or so. All right, guys, so obviously I'm not in my overalls, so this is a new day. I didn't get the moldboard finished last night like I wanted to. I ran into some problems, and one thing that makes a business owner or a good mechanic or whatever good in the trade that you're in is to be humble and not afraid to call somebody when you need advice. Generally on hard plate, I've always just blowed holes through because it didn't need to be precise. You know, we put side cutters on a bucket or something like that. But this moldboard, the hose needs to be perfect all the way down, so that's why we invested in this Hogan drill. I got, I think, 11 holes cut last night with that carbide cutter, and I'm new to angular bits. I've never owned a mag drill personally. I had one when I worked at Caterpillar, but we never really used it. I have some learning curves to make with this since it's a new product to me. I called my really good friend that I made, Craig Davenport. I was picking his brain, and he gave me the idea of a trick that he uses to make the job easier, and that's what we did. I went through and I preheated around all my markings for each drill hole that I needed to do with a torch, let it set overnight, come back through this morning with a carbide or just a regular cutter tip instead of a carbide tip, and finished out the remaining hose. I think it was 13 more holes I had to finish out. So never be afraid to call and use your contacts that you've made to ask opinions. It don't hurt, and it don't make you look no less than what you are. I'm gonna pop these cutting edges off real quick, show you the hose. That drill did an amazing job. Like I said, I just got to learn a little bit better on how to run it. All in all, I'm satisfied with it. So we'll go through and pop this, and I'll kind of give you my next deal that we're going to use. All right, so here's the somewhat of the finished product. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. This is a T-bevel. These things come in handy when you're finding angles. There was enough left on the old Moldboard to find the tapered angle that goes up to the top part of the blade, and that's what this angle right here is. We're going to fit this Moldboard in this square cut that it is now. We're going to slide it into the blade, and I'm going to make my markings where I think we need to angle it back, like so. But before we cut that piece, I want to fit it and make sure it's going to stick out just a little bit past the sides of the blade. Another thing is, where the Moldboard was wore out so bad, I didn't really have a good reference on a factory board of the width of it. This is a piece of 8-inch wide, 1-inch thick AR plate. And I really need 7 inches from here to here. So what I'm gonna do, instead of coming down this backside and ripping that whole 1-inch section out, we're gonna notch the blade up another inch and just let that slide in. And that gives you enough edge once you're on there to have wear. So you got this much wear right here. If I would have moved these holes up another inch, where that would make it like a 7-inch factory piece, you can see what little bit of a wear edge we would have had. But instead of freaking out, and I just stood back and looked at the situation I had. I went out and looked at the blade, and we got room where we can notch the blade where this slides in. We'll just come up another inch, and I'll show you that in another video. All right, so this is what I was talking about, the Moldboard that we got ordered, or the hard plate that we got ordered. I wish I would have did it at 7 inches wide. We got 8 inches wide. Instead of ripping a 1-inch section across that 11-foot span on the 1-inch plate, I'm gonna notch the blade. So, I mean, generally, if you step back and kind of just look at something, instead of making it hard, you can make it easier on yourself. And this right here is gonna be just fine. We're gonna rip back. I done got it marked an inch out of this side plate, and that way it will set our Moldboard back an extra inch and give us a perfect length coming past the side plates. So whenever you get in a jam, just sit back and look at it, scratch your head, and you'll come up with a plan that might be better than doing a lot of extra work for no reason. So we're gonna get this cut, and we got a bunch of more grinding to do. We had all this prep last week before we went on vacation, and rain came through and rusted everything up. So we'll get this cut, clean everything up with a grinder, and we'll start fitting our Moldboard. Here we go, let's get the cut.
Alright, y'all know I'm the painter of the job, so let's see how good I did on this job here today. So, this is going to be the test.
You are the tape queen, bro.
So far, looking good. Look at those good welds.
You're giving too much credit.
Let's take this one off for good measure. Boom.
I like it.
Rate it, 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10?
No, what do you rate it?
I give you a 9.5. That's always leaves you 0.5 for improvement. Because if it was 10 out of 10, I couldn't nag on you. All right, that's it. We're gonna get this old gal loaded up on the trailer.